Did you know that there have long been people who can walk through walls? So far, they can only walk through glass walls. Glass is a useful material, but sometimes its strength fails. But thanks to it, we can look at interesting fails of people, animal escape attempts, and much more. In this episode, I'll show you the most unusual situations where glass wasn't strong enough. You must see it. Aquarium. Imagine you're sitting in a bar, enjoying a pleasant environment and tasty drinks, and suddenly the glass in the aquarium bursts behind you. Such an unpleasant situation happened in a wine bar in Indonesia in 2015. The girl sitting behind the bar stayed seated because she was barely hit, but the guy was less lucky. At the very least, he got his feet wet. But it's all relative. Compared to these guys from Montenegro, he was very lucky because they were literally flooded with water in just 1 second. As a result, ruined rest and $6,000, which the owners of the cafe paid to repair the large aquarium. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to sit by the aquarium anymore. Have you ever dreamed of being able to walk through walls? Surely there are many of you who have dreamed about it.
Oh, it's close.
The girl from this video also dreamed of going through walls, and apparently she made her dream come true. However, only partly. She broke the glass, but she didn't get through it completely. The stuck girl had to be helped so she didn't hurt herself. Fortunately, everything ended well, and the owners of the building should think about installing strong glass in the lobby. Plane. The windows in airplanes are made especially strong because it wouldn't be very good if one of them broke during the flight, right? But how can airplane windows break? Turns out that sometimes a bird can break it. In 2014, a pilot from Florida was conducting a flight at an altitude of 300 meters, or 985 feet. Suddenly, a large bird crashed into the plane's window and shattered it. The incident was captured on a video camera that was in the cockpit of the single-engine airplane. Fortunately, the pilot didn't lose his temper, and despite this unusual situation, landed the plane on the ground. Have you ever bumped into a glass door or window? I'm sure many of you have been in such an awkward situation. So what's the big deal? Glass doors or windows are really easy to bump into, especially if they've been cleaned properly before. But it's a lot worse if you don't just bump into a window, but break it as well. That's exactly what happened in this video. This guy bumped into a glass window, smashing it to pieces. The most epic part is how he pretended like nothing happened. He just kept going. Found a way out and got away. I wish everyone had that kind of calm and self-confidence. Do you have similar stories? Share your stories in the comment section down below. And stay tuned. Further, there are many more interesting and unusual situations. You think there are strong winds in the place you live in? Then take a look at this creepy video, which was shot at a college in India. That day, the weather was not good, to say the least. The strongest winds were blowing at 205 kilometers per hour. Many glass doors and windows were simply unable to resist the element. The hurricane wind destroyed the front doors of the college and also blew out several large panoramic windows. The last one looks especially creepy. You could put these shots in apocalypse movies. Escape. On August 20th, 2019, an unusual story took place at Zhengzhou Zoo, located in Yunnan province in central China. A capuchin monkey decided to make an escape from its enclosure. It took a stone and tried to break the glass with its pointed side. Surprisingly, the monkey was able to do it in just a couple of hits. Glass was cracked, but the monkey decided not to finish what it started. Frightened, it ran away. The monkey, Shawshank Redemption, failed. And such an escape is unlikely to happen again, because according to zoo staff, after this unusual incident, they removed all the stones in the enclosure. I don't think anything creepy happened if that monkey did escape from the enclosure. But what would happen if sharks accidentally escaped into the wild? That's exactly what happened in China in 2012. A huge tank of 33 tons, in which sharks, turtles, and different kinds of fish were swimming, suddenly burst on the first floor of a shopping mall in Shanghai. Streams of water, shards of glass 25 centimeters thick, and sea creatures collapsed on customers. According to one eyewitness, it sounded like a bomb exploded. The site's pretty creepy. Luckily, no one died in the incident. Some of the customers at the mall only sustained minor injuries, But the fish were not so lucky. Many of them, including sharks, died when the tank glass burst. Not only sharks, but also polar bears can be kept in huge tanks. And no wonder, because in the wild they constantly have to dive for fish and other prey. This zoo has just such tanks in which polar bears splash around. This video shows a polar bear swimming next to men who are standing around talking. At one point, the bear throws a large stone at the glass and the glass shatters. Not all the way though, it's just cracked a little. However, it was enough to scare the visitors. Of course they were frightened. It's scary even to imagine what would happen if the polar bear smashed the glass to pieces. In 2017, a camera in a Colorado office building recorded an unexpected act of vandalism. The hero of the story was a large goat. For some unknown reason, the animal walked up to the glass doors of the office and started beating on one of them with its horns. The glass was not strong enough, and soon the first door broke. The glass shattered, frightening the vandal. It's unclear why, but the goat decided not to leave, but instead stayed and started hitting the second door. A few seconds later, he smashed it as well. I think this video should be shown to everyone who's going to open their office space with glass doors. As you can see, it's better to choose thicker glass, especially if you have goats roaming around. Actually, the choice of glass should be approached responsibly, even if there are no goats in your area. Even the windows in the upper floors should be thick and strong. This video is a great confirmation of that. During the construction of an office building, workers were lifting a large window on ropes. Everything was going fine, but suddenly the glass just cracked and instantly smashed to pieces. Falling to the ground, the workers will now install a better quality window that won't break for sure. Look at that crazy deer burst into the building right through the glass window. Just imagine how terrified the people in the lobby were at that moment. It looked epic, but I have something else for you. Another crazy deer which doesn't like glass doors. Here it is, bursting through the glass into a restaurant located in Atlanta, USA. Didn't stop there. The mad deer started running around the restaurant and chasing some of the employees. One of them managed to smoke the deer out of the restaurant and leave it outside. Putting glass fences and barriers at sporting events is not a good idea. Athletes are focused on the game, so they can simply not see the glass fence and run into it, smashing it to pieces. This is exactly what happened at one doubles game. One of the tennis players was desperately trying to keep the ball, so he knocked it away in a jump shot. Of course, he hit the glass fence, which instantly shattered. The game was immediately suspended. As far as I know, the athlete was okay, but it's unclear why the organizers made such a small court with such fragile glass. Seems like they wanted to harm the player. The hero of the next story is a courier from the city of Shantou, China. The footage shows the delivery man rushing into the restaurant. He tries to hold on to the door, which has already begun to close, but makes an awkward movement and ends up with half the glass door shattering. The most comical thing about this story is how the courier then stood by the door for a few seconds, clutching the doorknob in his hands. He was lucky though. The shards didn't hurt him because he was wearing a protective helmet that day. Seems like he knew something was going to happen. It feels like the windows in some cars are made of non-melting ice flakes, so fragile they are. The guy does a parkour element using his friend's car. His friend starts backing up, and at that moment, the parkourist falls slightly on the glass. To me, the contact wasn't very strong, so it's unclear why the glass shattered. Opening a bottle of champagne with a knife or a small sword is a cool trick. It's great if a man can do it. This man must have thought that he was born with this skill and decided to try his hand at an expensive bottle of champagne. At a very expensive $8,000 bottle of champagne. In the middle of the video, it becomes clear what the end of such sharp swings is. The bottle shattered to pieces after a powerful hit. Perhaps he should have practiced on cheaper bottles first. Which moment from this episode surprised you the most? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you liked the episode, subscribe to the channel, press the like button, and don't forget to stay notified of upcoming videos.